Hi friends, we're back on the Porsche today. So I wanted to give an update on where I was with this pedal mount assembly, this front suspension mount, pedal mount area, whatever you want to call it. This is kind of the area that I was working on last video, and I've got this all welded in, ground down, and seated in properly. The drain holes there, everything is butted up to the front suspension pan. My welds aren't perfect, they're not ground down perfectly, but that's in there. So now we have one complete floor pan from front suspension to pedal mount area to front floor pan to rear floor pan. Everything is glued together as it should be. So now we're to the stage where I need to etch primer it and then give it some undercoat. We have just one part left to do before that though, and I'll show you where that's at. Right inside here I had a little piece that was still rusty, so I cut that out and we're gonna weld the new piece in. But while we're in here, here's a quick peek at the inside of the car. Alright, I got that welded in, and it's nasty. It's a bunch of booger welds. So here we go, I got that welded in. Doesn't look good at all, but there's gonna be carpet over top of it. I'll probably grind it down. I just wanted to get that welded before we undercoated that. So we'll have that in place. So now everything is welded, everything is ground down, everything is ready to go. And the next step is going to be Scotch-Brite, then etching primer, and I'll show you guys what etching primer I got. So I got this automotive self-etching primer. I plan on Raptorlining the bottom of this, so they recommend doing a self-etching primer. I don't know if the Rust-Oleum's any good, but I was just kind of being cheap and trying to get something done quick here. So the plan is Scotch-Brite, and then self-etching primer, and then we will seam seal. And we'll seam seal in places like where this pedal bracket is, around the outside of it, and around the suspension mount points. And then of course at the back of the floor here. So right here along this edge and in the back corner here. I got to clean up my area. So I still got to clean up my area here. So we'll get that done and then we'll get ready to go. Alright, so we got everything cleaned up. Everything's ready to go. I put up this plastic sheet. Cars are covered, but you know, it just gives me a little peace of mind for overspray and things like that. So my plan is this week to kind of get this area heated up so the paint adheres nicely. It's pretty cold out here, but I got a couple propane heaters and a good work light. So we'll get some heat going in here. We'll scuff it down with the Scotch-Brite and go ahead and do that self-etching primer. So this video is going to be a few days long. This is day one, so be right back. Okay, so there's one more little piece that we have to adjust before I can start primering everything. And that is this section right here, where kind of the gas tank sits. There's a little bit of a gap there. You can see the light shining through. So I need to hammer that down. I need to probably weld it. I need to flap disc it down, and then we should be ready to start sanding stuff. So let's get that figured out. All right, so I got that hammered down and I got that welded. So that looks a lot better now. It's a lot more flat to the bottom piece. Then I went ahead. Okay, so we got the heaters going. Got the propane heater, got the second propane heater, got a big work light. They're going to town. It's a balmy 35, 37 degrees out. So who knows how well the paint will adhere, but I'm gonna get sanding, and we pretty much have everything we need right here. So I'm gonna spray some glass cleaner on it, hit it with Scotch Brite, and once I got everything sanded and the temp comes up a little bit, we're at 38 right now. Once that happens, we're gonna start painting. I don't know if I'll get to the seam sealer tonight. Probably gonna wait, let things cure a little bit, and then do the seam sealer. But that's the game plan. So things are all sanded down, wiped down, and hosed off. Got a little sheen to it. Now I'm only going to be primering from like the back side of the torsion bar up into where the mount is here. I got it taped off on the bottom of the rocker. Same on the other side that you can't see. And then I'm gonna kind of feather it in up here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I still have to finish the front suspension mount. So I don't wanna like totally coat that, and then I'll have, you know, I'll burn it off with weld when I do this front panel here, because obviously this is not done. It'll work better once I get this off the rotisserie and I can take this mount off to do this part. So we're ready to go. We're ready to start painting. Here's the time lapse. Oh, one more thing before the time lapse. It is also 49.2 degrees. So we got it heated up pretty good in here. You know, we're around 50. So hopefully the paint lays okay. I mean, it'll be way better than it was when it was, you know, in the 30s. So here we go. Whew, alright, my wrist hurts, but here we go. Here's the fresh coat, killed one can, and probably had about, I don't know, 10% of the second can on the floor here. But here it is drying, so it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the green color This is kind of like a light army green and the gray. It shows up a lot better on camera, but as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, did I miss this spot? So we'll tell Builder when it's all dried, but let it dry a few minutes and then see if I need to put any more paint on. All right, so it's the next day. Everything's dried. Looks pretty good. I have a little bit of lines in it, but I'm not really worried about that. I might touch it up with a little bit of that primer still, but the Raptor liner should cover that up quite nicely. So today we're going to be seam sealing it. Let's do it. All right, got the seam sealer on. Hit it in all the main spots in the suspension mount points, fuel and brake line, bulkhead, pedal mount. Went ahead and did it on the bottom of the rocker panel, outer rocker panel on the jack points, and then back where the floor pan mounts to the back of the car. And of course I just went ahead and fixed a few pinholes instead of going back and welding it. Hit it with the seam sealer. So now we should be ready for some Raptor liner. Alright, I got everything taped off, got everything scuffed. I'm just gonna go ahead and either blow this off or wipe this off, but this is essentially the area that I'm going to be spraying on the bottom of the rocker, the whole floor pan, half of that pedal assembly. And we'll see how it goes. Trying to get it warmed up in here, get it to at least 50, and then I can spray it. So here it goes. Well, here it is. Oh boy. Here it is. Looks sweet. I'm gonna leave my mask on because there's tons of vapors in here, but this came out really, really nicely. You can't really see any of the weld lines. You can a little bit if you get up close. But I think this coated really, really well. I just kind of feathered up to where I'm gonna eventually spray this at once I get it on the ground. But I think this looks great. This is one coat, so I'm thinking about doing another one, but I also think this looks really good. I'm not sure if it needs another one, so I'm going to do some research really quick and see maybe if I just need one coat. I planned on doing two, so that's probably what I'll do, but I don't know how thick it really needs to be. Had a little mess up here. I had to leave some room for the fender joining plate, so I just kind of scraped that off, and I'll hit it with a wire wheel when I go ahead and weld that on there. But other than that, really happy with this. So probably going to end the video there. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more work on the Porsche.